Welcome to episode 2 of the Telltale Vlog, Expanding the Wedge.
Today we're going to talk about raiding Runnelton. This was our second event. It wasn't really an event, but...
it was a mini event. It was our first mini event.
Adventure.
That's
right. We're not saying mini event. We're saying
Jedi
adventure.
craves not these things.
No, I guess.
So,
raiding Runnelton.
Raiding Runnelton. After the events of Muirhaven, the Crusade started marching north to their ultimate destination.
Well, actually, it wasn't the Crusade. The Crusade actually went through preparations in Muirhaven, and a small group headed out to Runnelton, which was...
That's right.
It had a tower called the Stacks.
Yes.
And the head wizard, sort of the ruler of Runnelton, was Sidarius Zelnor?
Sidarius Sartoris
Zelnor. That's right. Of the Stacks. Now, Runnelton, Sidarius is such a powerful mage that Runnelton existed sort of on the fringes of Caledonian law. And it was actually called Runnelton because of all the runoff from Muirhaven.
Yeah, the runoff from Muirhaven, the shit and slime and, coke from the furnaces and, Muirhaven ran off and ran to Runnelton in a small creek.
Now, the reason for going to Runnelton, or at least the reason given by Malik, now the reeve of the Duchy of Esselmere that the Crusade had yet to reclaim, was that they're going in pursuit of VV.
Right.
VV was the name of the initials, apparently, of the necromancer who had created the poison that killed Duke Dalbert.
Yeah.
Now, allegedly. Now, as we know from last episode, Malik was the orchestrator behind the Duke's death, but he needed to give the Crusade kind of a scapegoat, someone to blame for it. And the note itself with the initials VV was quite legitimate, that the Crusaders had found on the corpse of Hoskell Draywitt, the reeve from the previous episode that carried it out. Now the initials VV Malik said stood for a necromancer that they needed to find in the Stacks, but really it stood for Vermigar Vecnivore.
It did stand for Vermigar Vecnivore, notorious druid and poisoner
of the Three Maidens. That actually existed for the entire first season in Ferriglin along with the players, but we'll get to that a little bit later.
His ultimate goal was to protect Ferriglin and the wards which were up, and not get anybody in there. Although he didn't quite understand that Malik's intention was the exact opposite.
Yes.
But down. Temporary alliance, I guess.
Or just trickery being played.
So there happened to be a necromancer with the initials VV
in the Stacks.
Or
at least Malik hopes so. So they went there. That was the most obvious place. On top of that, Malik hadn't seen his friend Sidarius in about 5 years. Ever since Malik stayed behind to look for his wife in the Stormlands. So they headed there. Now, when they got to the Stacks, out of game, we should talk about sort of what was happening with the LARP at this point. We actually got invited to a convention.
Our very first one.
It was our very first convention, and the convention wanted us to run a LARP. So it was held in Calgary, and it was held at one of the hotels in Calgary. So what we did was we ran Monster Camp out of the back of the truck.
No.
Or out of the back of the vehicles.
My van.
That's right. We didn't have a truck yet. Out of the back of a van and a couple other vehicles. And
in the parking lot.
In the parking lot. And we had mods for that people could join in and everything else. And in and amongst the convention that was going on, we had hints and information gathering things handed out to different stalls that the players would have to go to in character and ask questions of and try and get the information.
So there were actual vendors in this convention, people who were selling, Pokemon cards and stuff like that. But to get them involved in the game, we laid out in-game that this was actually the bazaar of the Stack Tower at Runnelton. So they would go in, and the hotel itself was was it like 4 or 5 story hotel?
No, it was about 20 stories.
It was like 20 stories?
Yeah.
I don't remember it being that big.
Yeah, we were on the 18th floor.
Okay. Well, anyway, it was a tower, and it stood as Sidarius's wizard tower. And so
with an enchanted gnomish elevator.
An enchanted elevator, of course. Or the stairwell that we made PCs use.
That's right. But they couldn't get up the stairwells unless certain things were completed, of
That's
course.
right.
They couldn't see Sidarius.
So they would go into where the actual convention was happening. We had handed out information beforehand to these different vendors, and the PCs would go around talking to these vendors, asking them questions in character.
Yep.
And the vendors sometimes would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because they didn't have any information.
Which is fine.
And then some of the vendors who actually did have information would give it out.
Yeah, well, for the right thing. They also had triggers, right? So
definitely.
If certain things happened, then they gave it out. If certain things happened a different way, they restrained a little bit. Some of them could even give out lies or mislead information. So it went fairly well. Now, eventually, they did get to see Sidarius. They gathered all the components required.
This is also the first appearance of Jimmy DeCoin.
Jimmy DeCoin was there, yes.
Yeah, they were hunting Jimmy at the time because they'd found a ledger in Muirhaven at the outside the Laughing Raven Tavern.
Yes.
So, and it contained some shady dealings, so they were looking for him as well. And he had orcs who were looking for him.
Yes.
And orcs became the main enemy at this event. It just so happened, and spiders. It just so happened that outside this hotel was a canal, which was perfect for the
Runnelton
runoff. And so the players actually crossed it. There was a little public area.
That was in search for... We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah. So once they went and visited Sidarius, Malik took a small group up there. And the first thing the players noticed as soon as they stepped out of the stairwell were 2 Dark Elven guards. One of those Dark Elven guards, who also played a Black Panther Savar for a number of years, and was we won't drag his name. He was the worst Dark Elven guard ever, because he was guarding over Sidarius's major fortune, which was a couple gold bricks.
Yes, at the very beginning, when they first met Sidarius, they encountered a peasant who was handing over some gold bars to Sidarius. Well, these gold bars weren't enough, and so Sidarius strangled the peasant on the spot, or peasant or thief.
At the top of the tower.
Thief at the top of his tower. The PCs were there. They did not prevent it.
No, they did not.
They did not prevent it at all.
That peasant got killed.
So I strangled him as Sidarius, and then I gave my gold bars over to this dark elf to keep an eye on, because he was allegedly one of the best bodyguards in all the realm.
He swore he was. He fell asleep. No, he actually fell asleep while the players were there. Beside his gold bars, and an enterprising player, which was a fantastic move by the player, was able to take the gold bar when we left. Now, when he took the gold bar, though, Malik had approached Sidarius. Now, what the players saw and what was actually happening was a little bit different here, because Malik was acting as if he'd never met Sidarius, or maybe had upon occasion, but there was definitely no friendship there. And he was begging Sidarius for information where VV was. Sidarius mentioned that he trades in things other than coin for said information, and Malik was well aware that he traded for things other, and he had a gem, and Malik had to give part of his soul into this gem. Now, this was the first appearance of the Crown Gem of Maligant.
Yes.
That led to so many shenanigans later on.
It's also why most of the players thought for months and months after that, all the way to the end of our summer season,
necromancer.
That Sidarius was a necromancer. But he wasn't. He didn't have to be, because he had a super powerful necromantic relic that did all the damage for him.
What players didn't know were that Malik and Sidarius were actually really good friends, and Sidarius was well aware about the plot to kill Delbert. So when Malik went to him, what happened was Malik was asking, just in case the players figured out that it was Malik, for a little insurance policy. And what that was Malik bound his soul to the gem, much like a lich would bind their soul to a phylactery. Right. So a little bit less in depth as a lich, but basically what happened is if Malik died, regardless of how many times he died or when he died, he would reform.
He would resurrect
at the Crown Gem.
Which happened a number of times.
Which did happen.
More than we expected.
And we'll talk about one of those times. I hope Trumbler felt I was tasty a little bit later. So
that's not what it sounds like.
Yeah. We'll talk about that one later. Trumbler. Anyways, so that was all going on. While Sidarius and Malik were distracted, that's when the player moved to grab the gold bar.
Made his way back down the stairs to the first floor and hit the gold.
No, he didn't hide it.
It wasn't on it.
He gave and this is where this player unfortunately made a little bit of an error. He gave the gold to an NPC, to a peasant, to take the gold in Runnelton, the place that exists outside the law. Gave the gold to a peasant to give to him later, or to hide it later.
Yes, a peasant being just a random hotel goer who happened to be on the site and bought into this guy's story. This Jordan Ashworth's story.
It was a fantastic play, other than the fact that we, of course, ruled the peasant, having never seen so much gold in his life, took the brick and now has retired and...
Well, yeah. Also, other than the fact that they needed Sidarius' help.
Yes, and Sidarius was not happy. No,
they tried and tried to get that information without giving the gold bars back,
but they eventually had to give the gold bars back. Yeah, tracked it down and gave it back. Now, once that deal was made with Sidarius hinted at a magical item that could be used to slay the dreaded necromancer VV in Runnelton. I don't think we ever assigned an actual name.
Yeah, he had a name.
Didn't?
Yeah, because he had a letter on him that was able to sort of release suspicion off of Ermengar Vecnavor, who they were going to meet in a few months.
Right.
The letter on the necromancer had the necromancer's name. It was like something like Valentin Viego or some crazy...
Yeah. It was a necromancer. He died.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about him in a few minutes. Yeah, Valentine Viego. Let's call him Valentine Viego.
I'm going to call him Valentine Viego.
Viego. That was his name.
It wasn't.
It wasn't, but we'll say it is now.
It was definitely a VV name, though.
It was VV. Anyways, so then they had to gather all these components and stuff for a portal spell, because in order to kill the necromancer, they were going to need an item of Kale, a relic of Kale.
They made a short stop at an arena as well. Fought some undead.
Well, that's outside. It wasn't an arena. That was the end. That was the necromancer fight.
No. Beforehand, Paul was an arena master.
Oh, right.
Remember? And they went out and fought for coin. They fought undead for coin.
Yes.
Even though this guy was clearly raising undead.
Yes.
They
fought undead for coin. That's right, in the arena.
In an arena, yeah. That's funny.
And we also had the spider battle. The spider battle was a mod that we put on for the con-goers, and NPCs could participate in it. Actually, the con-goers got to be spiders.
Yeah, and they were really good spiders.
They were really good spiders.
There was that one guy, that martial artist, I don't remember his name, but he just, he came to one of our, what do you call it at the hotel, our little programs we put on. And he came and he sat through all of it and he was really excited. And he was telling us about our panel. Here you go. And he was talking about his black belt in something, Jeet Kune Do or something like that. And he's like, yeah, I'd love to play a spider. And he fucking hammered the PCs. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful event.
In a safe but effective manner.
Yes.
So what happened was, after they gathered all the components, they were teleported to where the bracer of Kale was.
Yeah.
And it was Garjan that eventually ended up getting the bracer of Kale and putting it on. But the spiders were so much for them when they teleported, it was really tough. Luckily, Malik had requested more assistance, and Mirhaven sent a man in the form of a character that we all knew and loved, and who became instrumental to the crusade as time went on, and that was Trumbler. Trumbler showed up and was a big hero of Runnelton.
Yep.
He did pretty good.
He did pretty good.
He did good. He was a mercenary.
That's when he first decided he was going to join the Order.
Yes.
Order of the Golden Dawn.
Yes, he decided that and undecided that many, many times.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But, so yeah, they fought the spiders. They gained the bracer of Kale. They teleported back to the tower. or were recalled back to the tower, and then they battled the necromancer.
That's right.
And it was a
Just
pretty
outside the
brutal
Stark
fight.
Tower.
Yeah,
it was a good fight. It was a good fight. We had.
I was playing the necromancer.
No.
Who played the necromancer? Oh, I was playing Malik. Right. Right.
No, who was playing the necromancer? It
was Paul.
That Black Panther Savar we were talking about.
That's right.
He had some crazy horns on his head.
Yes, the Black Panther
Savar. He had a bat gorget going on.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That's right. I was playing Malik.
Yeah.
That's right. But it was still all in all pretty epic. And that was the end of Runnelton. We got a divine.
They killed him. They found the thing that said Valentin Viego or whatever it said.
They saw his name.
So like, oh, that's the VV. All right, we got him. Wrap this up.
Right.
And then
and Malik was doing a little dance in his head the entire time, saying, "Off the hook, off the hook." Yeah, he was. I'm not gonna do it right now.
So yeah, and then they killed the necromancer. Made things square with Sidarius, and then they waited for the rest of the crusade to arrive, marched off north to Ferryland to fight the Flint. It was shortly after they left that the Stack Tower was sacked and burned by the Flint.
Well, not quite yet. That happened after Far Pit Mines.
Right.
That's when.
Yeah. Well, still not.
So I tasted the deliciousness that was me.
The deliciousness. Tasted Malik's flavor.
Trombler.
I'm
glad it was you that ate me.
I saw little Tony the other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's cool.
He was at a Harvey's.
All right. So I guess that's the end. There's one, first... You know, we have to. We're going to tell you about another character named Boo Radley at this event.
Also, I might mention, this is the first time we gave out a magic item, the Bracer of Kale.
The Bracer of Kale, yeah, this was the first magic item we'd ever given out.
Yeah.
And it was pretty powerful. Sun Smite and a whole bunch of other stuff. Garjan held on to that for a whole 2 events before it blew up.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it blew his arm up.
Demon worship. He didn't even make it to Ferryland, did he?
No.
Oh, that's tragic.
He didn't even make it to Ferryland.
That's tragic.
Well, he has been to Ferryland, but...
Yeah, since. So he's been there since, hasn't he?
Yeah. But anyways, one of our characters, he's a lovable sort of fool. His name's Boo Radley, and he plays all sorts of different things. He gets in a lot of troubles. In this case, he played Cathal. Now...
Cathal, who earned the nickname the Coward.
Cathal the Coward. For actually what he did at this event. Ikani, which was a healing white tiger survivor, was standing all alone off by herself.
Played by our own Kate
Cooper.
Amazing character.
And Boo Radley, had been given a chance to meet Malik in combat if he really wanted to die. He was acting like he wanted to die. Boo Radley was really upset.
He'd broken some laws.
He'd broken some laws. And Malik was giving him a way out, which was to fight him. Well, Boo Radley didn't want to do that, so what he did instead was he attacked little Ikani, the healing mage, not knowing that Garajan was
right there.
So
of course,
a little foolish.
Down.
Now, the whole reason he did this was because he had wanted to play, I believe it was a Garglin.
What was it?
Something with horns.
Something with horns, a Draconian.
He wanted to play a Draconian. That's right, that was his next character.
Yeah. Oh my god, the purple flower Draconian.
The purple flower Draconian.
Yeah.
No, it was a blue Draconian.
He made these purple thingies, and they had flowers all over it.
Yeah. But anyways, at this time what he had these horns that he'd taken off. You know, one of those plastic helmets?
A Viking helmet?
Viking helmets.
It's sawed off with a hacksaw.
I don't even know if he used a hacksaw.
I think
He used something. He cut it off. Anyways, he had these things. They were jagged plastic.
Big jaggedy edges.
And he comes to me with these 2 horns and a thing of super glue and says, "Derek, I'm going to super glue these to my head for my Draconian."
Will this work?
I couldn't believe it.
It was astonishing.
It was astonishing. His head would have been so cut up.
His character died and he threw his kilt in the garbage can.
And then, so he ended up playing Cathal because we wouldn't let him glue jagged horns to his head. And then he got so upset, he threw his kilt in the garbage can that he had duct taped to his body. It was fantastic.
Oh, that was an event.
There's much better ones, but that's the one about this one. There's a Boo Radley story in almost every
We'll do more Boo Radley stories.
Yeah. I can't believe he attacked Ikani.
Couldn't either.
She's so nice. She was so sweet.
A pregnant woman.
She was pregnant too.
Yeah.
Connie was, not Kate. Kate wasn't
pregnant.
No, Kate wasn't pregnant. Kate Cooper was not pregnant.
Yeah.
But Connie was.
Connie was pregnant.
Was she pregnant at this time?
Yeah. It was her first pregnancy.
Oh,
it happened
right.
between the game. Remember, our forums were extremely active at the time.
Right. Yeah, so Connie got knocked up.
Knocked up?
And I believe it was either this event or next when Garjen started to speak to Lazabal. Dun dun dun.
Yep.
We'll talk about that later too. Alright, yeah, so if you have any questions, comments, or queries, just contact us here at Telltale Events. Remember to take a look
at
down there too. Post them down there, yeah, right below where this is. Yeah, feel free. Right where the candle is. But I don't know why I said that.
I don't either.
Yeah, check out our other LARPs. And swing by the office if you're in the Edmonton area. We'd be really happy to see you. We have some new orders coming in here soon. Thanks. Bye. Oh, we're just going to sit here for a second.
Let's see.
That wasn't as good as the first one.
Now we're supposed to